collared you here.
He has.
I put a restraining collar around his neck.
This is true. I am currently tied to a bench.
And I'm going to explain to him why he should watch Star Wars Rebels. Is a animated TV show that is on Disney XD, and it fills in the gaps between the couple of years before Star Wars Episode 4 and Star Wars Rogue One. So I will have to explain to Dan in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, you have 10 minutes.
Why he should go and watch this TV series, and you guys at home, why you should go watch this series.
I'm gonna start the timer. You have 10 minutes to convince me that this is worth watching. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. And talk.
So, Star Wars Rebels, it stars 5 main characters.
Right.
So you got Hera, who's the captain of the ship.
Okay.
You've got Kanan, who is a former Jedi Knight who managed to survive Order 66.
All right.
And he managed to escape the Purge, but he's not a fully trained Jedi. So he's kind of like
he's the youngling that Anakin didn't kill.
Yeah, he's like a Malcolm Reynolds, but a Jedi.
All right.
You've got Sabine Wren, who's a former Mandalorian, trained at the Imperial Academy.
Okay.
But she left because she didn't like what they were doing with her weapons.
What were they doing with her weapons?
Killing people. Like, really shady killing people.
Oh, I thought you meant like they wrote their names on them or something.
Then you've got Zeb, who's the last survivor of his race after the Empire destroyed his planet.
Oh, was he part of Alderaan too?
No, he's part of another group. And then you've got Chopper, who's like the grumpiest astromech droid ever.
I like him already.
Imagine R2-D2, but with your personality, basically. He's the grumpiest guy ever.
Oh, okay.
He will do stuff begrudgingly and half-assed.
Hey, I don't even do stuff.
But at the end of the day, he will work with his friend. But he's so funny.
Okay.
So you've got these 5 guys, and they're just basically messing with the Empire in their own private little rebel cell.
Right.
This is as the story begins. And they're on this planet called Lothal, which is an Imperial outpost, basically. In this outpost is a guy called Ezra. And his parents used to be very vocal against fighting against the Empire, but they were taken away when he was a child. So he's been by himself. And it's implied but never said that they essentially took him to a concentration camp and they killed him.
Right.
This isn't a kid show, folks. Ezra, all this time, he's about a youngling's age. And he's got a lot of pent-up anger. It turns out that he has the power of the Force, but he doesn't know what it is because the Empire have just suppressed any mention of the Force or Jedi or anything. They bump into Kanan, and they end up becoming... Kanan decides to teach Ezra. So he teaches him the way of the Force. And this whole first season is basically them learning to come together and work as a team, as Padawan and Master.
Okay.
And the end of the series, there's a group called the Inquisitors. And they're basically Jedi hunters. And they go around killing and capturing, turning people to the dark side or to the Empire, or if they're not, they're going to just straight up kill them. And there's a guy called the Grand Inquisitor who basically tortures Kanan in the season finale. He's like straight up.
Does he torture Kel as well?
Kel? I'm not getting that joke. Kenan and Kel?
Yeah, Kenan and Kel.
Kanan. But in the Grand Inquisitor dies. And then it's revealed that there is a wider rebel cell led by Bail Organa, who is Princess Leia's father, and Ahsoka Tano, who was Anakin Skywalker's former apprentice who left the Jedi Order.
I didn't know Anakin had an apprentice.
Yeah, this is in Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
So it's his apprentice from that. And it's them just taking apart the Empire. Through all of this, they meet Darth Maul. He came back in Clone Wars. He never actually died. He just had his legs chopped off.
Then why didn't they bring him back sooner? He was awesome.
I don't know, but it became he really rose to power during Clone Wars, like in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. But he comes back and he messes with Ezra. He starts trying to turn Ezra towards the dark side. They manage to take out all the Inquisitors, so there's no more Inquisitors left. And Ahsoka manages to train Kanan and Ezra in more of the Force because she has more experience of the Force.
Okay.
And Kanan eventually through this time becomes a member, like a fully fledged Jedi Knight. Hera at the same time is becoming the leader of something called the Phoenix Squadron, which basically runs bombing runs on the Empire, and they're basically helping. They're like little pot shots at the Empire, but there's nothing really substantial. Then there's this guy called Grand Admiral Thrawn, who's a massive character from the Legends, and he basically destroys the rebels.
Okay.
This season, and now he's coming back to finish the job. The reason you should really watch this is because, like I said, it's Firefly in the Star Wars universe. It's got Jedi Knights. It does lead to some interesting moral conundrums as well.
Give me an example.
At one point, they have to either let this transmission go that shows the Empire doing horrible stuff to the wider universe and let them know that this is not on, or they have to so they either sacrifice that or save Kanan, who's their friend and has been protected all of them at least several dozen times during the entire series, and they have to let Kanan go. They have to leave Kanan to be captured by the Empire.
Okay.
And it's like a very simplistic thing, but it's at that point in the series where you start feeling the repercussions or something. Then Kanan, in the course of like the second season, he gets blinded.
By love?
No, by Darth Maul. He gets like a lightsaber to the face.
Ugh.
And he just becomes blinded. And it is him in the third season trying to come to terms with being able to see without his eyes. So that has spread a message that just because you have a disability doesn't mean you're any less capable. It means there's another way for you to do things. And that spread a lot of messages to other disabled people in the universe. It has, at the focus, it's got a captain who's a woman and a Twi'lek, a character who's in the past the kind of person that is being looked down on. She's leading the charge in this team.
Okay.
So there's all these different dynamics and all these different kinds of characters. People grow and develop. Ezra in the first episode is very much a child, very much a brat. By this season, by the end of the season, he's helping take down Imperial cruisers. So there's a lot of character development, and the characters change over time. They learn, but they're very flawed. Ezra has a tendency to draw upon the dark side. Sabine, who's a Mandalorian warrior, she's haunted by the past, and she's had to cut ties with her family.
Yeah,
because her family, if she goes back to them, they will kill her family. So there's all these different layers. Zeb is dealing with essentially PTSD, and he's ran away from the fact that he's watched his whole planet burn.
Okay.
These are really grown-up stories told in a child's TV show. And yes, there is the odd episode where it's very kid-friendly, but then you get episodes where Ahsoka has to confront Darth Vader and have to come to terms with the fact that her master, the person she looked up to, fell to the dark side. And she says in her final episode, because she dies, we think. Spoilers for season 2.
Spoilers for season 2. Speaking of 2, you have 2 minutes left.
Yeah, I've got to. That's why I'm rushing a bit now. She has to confront the fact that her master is no longer the person that she thought he was, and has to fight him. Darth Vader, at the same time, is a very menacing presence throughout the second season.
He's a very menacing presence in general.
Yeah, at one point in the opening episode, they drop a chicken walker on top of him. It's not a chicken walker, it's an ATST. But
I could see the pain in his face when he called it a chicken walker.
But that's what most people call it. They drop a chicken walker on top of him. It blows up. Everybody thinks he's dead because nobody survives that. He just lifts it up with his one hand, throws it aside, and just wails on Kanan and Ezra. He nearly kills them. He wins them. He says, it's voiced by the great James Earl Jones.
Oh, James Earl Jones is actually in it.
James Earl Jones voices Darth Vader. That just immediately adds to this, the credibility of this. It's got Lando Calrissian comes back every now and again.
Is it
voiced by Billy D. Williams? They have Princess Leia in an episode. not voiced by Carrie Fisher, but sounding very much like the young Carrie Fisher. On the whole, I would go watch this. If nothing more, if you're a casual Star Wars fan, it helps fill in the blanks of some of the stuff that happens in the run up to Rogue One and the original trilogy. Shows how the Rebels got the start and how hard it was and how much of a victory Rogue One actually was for them.
30 seconds left.
That's why I'm really trying to sum it up now. I think you should really... This is one of my favourite TV shows that they have at the moment. I'm sad about season 4 coming, and it'll be the last season. On the whole, just go and watch it, please, please, please.
So you're going to end this with just begging me to watch it?
Yeah. I think you will come out a more Star Wars heavy fan out of it at the end of it.
Okay.
Or you'll appreciate some of the nuances in the stories.
Okay. And that is time.
Okay, so
you did that quite well.
Did I convince you at all, or
I've got to admit, I think you probably should have led with James Earl Jones.
Yeah,
in it.
yeah.
I don't know why you waited till the very last minute. It was literally like 1 minute left, and then you went, James Earl Jones is in it.
Yeah, he's in like I can't really pitch anymore, but. They do get quite a lot of the original trilogy.
Yeah, well, I mean, anything. That's all I need. James Earl Jones to be in it, and then I'm pretty much sold.
Yeah, it's got Buffy in it as well.
That's not a selling point.
It's got Freddie Prinze Jr. as a Jedi, like a really chilled out Jedi.
All right.
So,
all right.
It's got Sam Witwer in it as well, if you know who that is.
I know who that is. It's okay. You've had your 10 minutes. You've had your 10 minutes.
So, are you intrigued to go and watch this now?
I'm kind of intrigued to go and watch this now. I do. I mean, so what I've essentially taken from that is, in order to get into Star Wars properly and the story of Star Wars properly, it's a good thing to help me get into.
Yeah, it's a soft thing in the world of Star Wars.
Okay.
It's a casual dip in the pool of Star Wars. And on that
how
note,
charming.
And on that note, see you next week.
Bye.
There we go.
I said it for once.
We can splice that into the end. Show me.